Hey, so how are you? I knew I wanted to make this video because I got a bit of negative response from a guy named Rawfoodsungazer on my video where I was just throwing together supplements from the bag of stuff that Truth gave. And the comment, as I paraphrase, is basically, I could only imagine if you were a drug user, how you are with those supplements, basically pursuing a high. And so that's the title of this video, is Pursuing a High.
Bonsoir.
Anyways, there's sort of a puritanical view, I guess, that our culture has come to, and I feel this with the some of the videos I've done before about being in a box or about a sort of black and white existence. And to me, in terms of black and white, there's a lot of colors in between. And I think I might have said this before. White, in the prismatic sense, is a combination of all the colors in the prism. And in terms of me being a painter, as I am, you can use black to those colors to make all those colors deeper. So the whole idea that there's like this black and white existence, and this really exists in our culture in such a big way. Like, are you Christian? Are you not Christian? Do you use drugs? Do you not use drugs? And if you use drugs, you're fucked up. You're a waste. And if you don't use drugs, then you're like whatever. And so the whole concept of pursuing a high, it's like, well, of course I'm pursuing a high, but I get down with the definition of what is a high, because I personally didn't use things that people consider drugs until I was 20. I was completely 100% straight. And I can tell you, as a teenager, and I do come from a really, really good breeding stock. I'm purely Swiss, of Northern European, which is in a really strong genetic line. And so, just to put that out of the way, part of the reason I'm probably having success with being the age I'm doing and being okay is, depending on your opinion, whether you think I look good at approaching about 19 days away from being 48, but a lot of that, of course, is where I come from. So I always felt high, and I only did I start using drugs is because I came into an intellectual interest in my studies, my esoteric studies, which had nothing to do with doing drugs or the people that were around me. When I was growing up, basically, you know, I was 13, 14 in 1976, 77, which would be the sort of post-hippie era of people smoking a lot of pot and doing cocaine and all that kind of stuff. I never did drugs because I was high naturally all the time. And so the way that I came to an interest of using drugs, and the first time I used a drug, it was LSD, and I was interested. I had studied the books of John Lilly, and more John Lilly, a book called The Center of the Cyclone, which drew me into doing that. And then I kind of got an interest when I went into college of doing other, like smoking marijuana and stuff, but I never got lost in it, you know, in the sense of, like, I never used it as a numbing tool or anything like that. So so I never had any problems with drugs, you know. I never hit rock bottom, you know, in terms of having, consider myself a mystical Christian, but I'm Hindu, I'm Buddhist, I'm everything. I'm a pagan. Paganism is kind of more my thing because I like it because it has less rules than all the other religions. So in terms of this sort of black or white kind of thing, it's like, sorry, I never hit rock bottom with drugs. It was only a positive thing for me. Always has been. Sorry, if that's not what you want to hear. But this pursuing a high, like, what's wrong with that? Like moving higher, like feeling better, like being the best that you can be. And when you, like, for example, when you fast, like I've been on doing a couple of water fasts, when I get out there I feel high. Like, what is that? What's wrong with feeling high? When I work out, when I go in to do long hikes in nature, when I come back home, I feel high. My street in front of my house is very steep. I ride the bike up and back down. I do like, when I get done with that, after doing 5 or 6 cycles, takes me 15-20 minutes, I feel high. So I don't understand where somebody's coming at me with this thing about like this sort of, and I'm not a pussy, I understand where somebody's coming from. They sort of want to be right. People want to be right. And so if I'm not doing what they're doing, you know, then, and I'm okay with somebody leaving negative commentary, but it's like when somebody's telling me that like pursuing a high with supplements, it's like if I'm taking these supplements because I believe that the body is, at the age I'm at the things that are happening, that I can revive things or keep things sustained longer by taking some of these isolates. And as I've said before, a bit of it's experimenting, you know. I think you can take these isolates for a while and build up some stuff, but the fact that they are isolated, I think you need to like sort of put that down after maybe 3 or 4 months or half a year or something like that, and go back to whole foods to like, because you don't know how with some of these things, I mean, how they're going to affect you when they're pulled out of a whole food state. But I can tell you that I've grown in leaps and bounds from the amino acid supplementation. It has definitely made me feel high. Taking some of these supplements have led to me where I got to a point of not being able to really focus, not being able to meditate, and so a lot of this, the symptoms I was arriving at, and I arrived at all of these symptoms in a smaller or larger degree, which are pointed out from being a strict vegan, which I have been for. Been a vegetarian since I was 13, started vegan Rawfoodism at the same time at age 22, and then last year, a few months before my 47th birthday, I started, I ate meat once, and then probably a time again, but the real change in my brain came with the big time amino acid supplementation and the mineral supplementation, to where I'm back now to where I do feel like my brain and my consciousness, I shouldn't even call it meditations, because I had probably 10-15 years where I couldn't even really meditate anymore because there's so much brain static going on, you know, with an inability to like stay focused. And now I can just sit there in a lotus position in the morning, just take a deep breath and in I go, where it's just like I was getting like tons of mind chatter, inability to focus, and definitely the want to alter my consciousness. And these are all things that Sally Fallon pointed out in her a bit that she did in the Great Health Debate this year that Kevin Gianni has, and she was put against a famous vegan named Will Tuttle, and she was in the second half of the show. And all of the things that she mentioned were things that I had arrived at with being a strict vegan. And I wasn't a strict vegan for sustainability issues, for ethical issues with animals. I became a vegan because I wanted to be, I have always wanted to be as healthy as I can be, as high as I can be, and operating at the highest potential, ascended to the highest state. And all the sort of vegan belief systems that were out there were things that I subscribed to. So they sounded good, like the whole, you know, that you're more at peace when you're a vegan because you're not taking in all that animal energy of when they're killed, or the kind of that kind of stuff. And while I still am vegan based, I keep wanting to say this, to stress this, I am vegan based, but I'm supplementing little bits here and there with just things, and it's little milk products here and there, like kind of every other day, working with kefir, eating a full-on flesh, liver, something, ground something at least once a month. So that's kind of like when people say, oh, I'm kind of vegetarian. Well, I'm kind of vegan. It's still like my meals that I eat every day are vegan based. So not that I'm trying to defend that, but it's like this whole black and white thing. With like that vegan is like, I remember once when I was kind of around some of the animal rights people, they were sort of trying to tell me that, oh, because I wear a leather belt or whatever, it's like I'm not vegan. It's like whatever. It's like people just want to chase something to an end, and so this kind of has to do with the whole being high thing. Yes, I do want to be high. That's like what I'm after. I want to be the highest potential that I can be. I want to be out there. I want to have the best consciousness that I can possibly have, you know, and that equals the electricity in my body flowing through me at the highest potential. A good example, well, let me digress a second, because I think when you reach a high with taking some kind of health food, it becomes a stasis. It becomes something that's actually not a high anymore, which I've arrived at, where it's just like, no, I don't really get high anymore because I've been doing such good things, like the taking of reishi. Like the first day or 3 that I took reishi, I was like, woo, like through the ceiling. Same with like cordyceps. It's just like, you know, and then you just reach this point where it just becomes a part of your day, and it's just a part of feeling good and feeling amazing. So I'm not too sure what somebody that's like talking negative about pursuing a high, like that's a bad thing. It's like, I want to be as high as I possibly can. I want to be as spiritually high as I possibly can be. You know, it's like, I think I've known and experienced it myself when I go to a meditation group or something spiritual, or even being around the raw food crowd or a health conscious crowd, like when I've gone to a Raw Spirit Fest or to any of the David Wolf events, I get a high from being around the energy. So it's just like Jason Harvey said, he left a comment to Rawfoodsungazer, it's called ascension. And yes, it is, just living in this body and thinking that you're not entitled to like a high. What is high? What is it? That's feeling good, being more, being the best that you can be, being on a spiritual high, being high. That's, I don't know what to say about that, except that it just seems like somebody just wanting to attack me. So it's like I sit there with all my stuff in my kitchen and putting my drinks together, and I know it's making me feel better. I know it's making me do more amazing things. I know that I've revived myself in such amazing ways. So Rawfoodsungazer or any 80-10-10 people that are on these like straight and narrow paths, I don't know what you're talking about. So anyways, this is Keith. Definitely I am pursuing a high, you know, and I intend to stay on that pathway later on.